Now go.
Okay. Good morning, house. My name is Jattu Segun. I'm here to take economics aspect of the project. The objective is to explain the concept of economics to the student and ensure that they do their exam and pass it very well. And I believe we can do, and we can do more than that. The topic I'm taking today is consumer behavior. How does consumer behave to products? How does consumer behave to price? How does consumer react when there is changes in their income? How does consumer behave when they discover that there's going to be changes in price of goods in the market? How does consumer behave when their income has increased? That is what this topic is all about. Talking about the concept of consumer behavior, you consider the total utility that the consumer is going to get from the product. Consider the marginal utility, that means the additional utility that the consumer will get by consuming additional products in the market. How does the consumer react if he discovers that the substitute product has changed in terms of the price, in terms of the quality, in terms of the additional value or package that the company has put into the product? That's what consumer behavior is all about. Consumer behavior. The consumer demand depends on how much money the consumer can spend on goods and how useful these goods are for the consumer. What is the usefulness of the goods to the consumer? So the money you have with you will determine the quantity of goods you want to buy in the market. If you have 1,000 naira with you, enter market and you now say, okay, bundle of goods that I want to buy are 1, rice, 2, beans, 3, bread, etc. The price of each of them determine the quantity you are going to buy. So you are going to react based on the money you have in your pocket. If you have 1,000 naira, the way you are going to be reacting is going to be different from someone that has 2,000 naira in the pocket and enter the same market to buy the same bundle of goods. So that's what consumer behavior is about. For example, consumer that wants to buy 2 packs of bread or let's say food, and he has 100,000 naira with him, and the worth of one phone is 50,000 naira. So what the consumer can just buy is just 2 phones. Buy 2, because if you divide the 100,000 naira by that 50,000 naira, what you are going to be getting back is 2. That's the unit that the consumer is going to buy from the market. This now determines the utility, the satisfaction that the consumer is going to get from it. Your own satisfaction in terms of the phone aspect is different from Mr. A satisfaction on the same phone. Satisfaction is being determined by the way you rank it, the way you look at the product. My objective of buying phone might just be that to make call and receive call. That's my satisfaction. For Mr. A, objective might be to Google, to do a lot of stuff on the phone. That gives that Mr. A his own satisfaction. That's what the consumer behavior and its utility is all about. For example, the utility of goods, that is The ability to satisfy needs and wants depends partly on their objective properties and partly on the consumer's subjective value judgment. What is the objective on this particular product you want to buy? So my objective is that I need good phone, iPhone. So that's my objective. Because I want to show people that, okay, I have a better phone, I have a camera, I can take a good picture, do a lot of stuff. Fine, that's my objective, and I need to work towards that. In working towards that objective, I need to go and get a phone that is up to that standard. That is my objective. That is what I want to get from the products. The other sub-objective might be that, okay, because my friend is using an iPhone, let me buy iPhone now. That one is not a concrete objective, but it also depends on individual. Let's continue. These two components determine the consumer's preferences. At the same time, the consumer's choice of preferred goods is limited by the consumer's income and the purchasing power of this income. What you are buying is being limited to the income you have. Like I said, if you have 1,000 naira, so what you are going to be buying from it is going to be different from someone that has 2,000 naira. That's your income. You are being limited to it. That's your constraint. Because something budget constraint. Budget constraint is talking about the limited resources that you have. What constrains you from not achieving a lot? Thousands of us want to travel out, to go and school over there, but we are being constrained to certain factors. And this factor that we are constrained to is strictly money. So I know just being the money aspect alone, there might be other factors. Like some people will say, okay, I have the money, but I don't want to leave my family. Well, I value them more. Okay, I have the money, but I find it difficult in getting visa, in getting documents, a lot of things to travel out with. So that person is being limited to that particular factor. So that's the limited resources that we are talking about. Limited income, consumer's income is being limited. You are constrained under a particular income or particular value that you have. So because of that, there is no way you can achieve the whole project or all your wants because you are constrained to a particular factor. The major factors is the income. The other aspect of it is the purchasing power of this income that you have. What do I mean? If I'm talking about purchasing power is talking about what the money can buy, the actual quantity that the money can bring back home once you enter market. You have 10,000 naira. You want to go and buy exercise goods. Your intention was to buy 10 due to the fact that one is 1,000 naira and you have to buy 10. Now you've gotten to the market. You now discover that they've changed the price from that 1,000 naira to 2,000 naira. In that situation, there is no way you can buy that 10 units of that exercise book. So what you can now do is that to go ahead and buy 5. So the 5 units you bought, that 5 units describe your purchasing power. That's the units that your income can accommodate. Unlike before, when your 10,000 naira can buy 10 units. So as at that time, the purchasing power of your money is 10 units. But now, as the price has changed from 1,000 naira to 2,000 naira, so the purchasing power is now 5 units. Looking at what is going on in Nigeria now, prices of everything are just changing every day. It's affecting the real income. There's something we call nominal income and real income. Nominal income is talking about the monetary value of your income. 10,000 naira last 10 years is still the same 10,000 naira you are calling this year. 10,000 naira in 20 years' time. That's the nominal value of it. But the real value, what that 10,000 naira can buy as at 10 years ago, is no longer the same thing that the 10,000 naira can buy now. That's the real value of it, of the 10,000 naira. What is the purchasing power of that 10,000 naira? So what you do to get the purchasing power of the 10,000 naira, you divide the 10,000 naira by the price as at when you are valuing the 10,000 naira. If the 10,000 naira, maybe you are valuing as at, let's say 20 years ago, what was the price of goods as at that 20 years ago? So you divide it by it and get the real value of it, the real unit that is going to buy. That will now give you the real income. So the same 10,000 naira now, if you divide it by the current price, what it can give you is the purchasing power of the 10,000, which serves as the real income. That's why the salary earners keep on shouting, cram money for increments in salary, because inflation has increased. And that now affects, it's going to affect their income. It's going to affect the purchasing power of the company. So that's the concept of the purchasing power. Let's move on. Therefore, the consumer choice is mainly based on the value he or she attributes to the utility of the goods, while he or she budgetary constraint limits the available options. The true quantity demanded is determined by these two factors. That's the income and the purchasing power of the consumer. That's the summary of it. What you are going to buy and the income you have with you determine the utility of the consumer. Let's move on. I explained something earlier, the budget constraint. Let us try to determine how much a consumer is able to buy for a commodity. All of us experienced the way how our limited income constrain our ability to buy goods. The higher the price, the smaller the amount of goods we are able to buy. Moreover, the limited income is usually divided among buying several goods at the same time. The prices of all having an impact on the final bundle of goods we can purchase. That was what I just explained now. The decision problem is illustrated by a simple example. Let's just look at the example of a student going to school with 2,000 naira. So this student has option of buying, let's say, rice and snacks. So he has option of buying either rice or snacks, or buying both. Now, if the price of rice, the plate of rice is, let's say, 500 naira, the student now decided to buy just rice for the day. So what he can buy is just 4 plates of rice. That means 500, 2,000 naira is total income divided by 500 naira. That will give us 4 units of that quantity of rice. That's 4 plates of rice. That's what it's going to buy. But if the student decided to go for snacks, he has 2,000 naira with him. He can buy. Let's assume the price of snacks is 200 naira. He can buy 10 of snacks. That means divide the 2,000 naira by 200, you get 10 units of snacks. So the student can as well decide to combine the two together. In combining the two together, you can decide to say, okay, now I'm going to spend 1,000 naira on rice, 1,000 naira on snacks. In that situation, indirectly, what it's saying is to buy 5 units of snacks and 2 plates of rice. That's when he will get his own satisfaction. Student B can say, okay, let me buy, like, let's say, let me spend 1,005 on rice and spend 1,005 on snacks. That is the choice of that particular student. So it's not possible. That's your satisfaction you are going to get with that 2,000 naira. And your purchasing power in that 2,000 naira is just 10 snacks if you are incurring everything or spending the whole money on snacks. If you decide to spend the whole unit money on rice, that means you are getting your purchasing power of that income is 4. 2,000 divided by 500, that will give you 4. Is there any question before I move forward? It's also possible for the consumer not to have enough income. And the consumer now decides to say, okay, let me go and get money somewhere else to satisfy my needs. So in that situation, consumer is trying to borrow money in order to satisfy its needs, because there are some needs that are compulsory, autonomous needs that we must comply. It's a must. Either you have money or not, you have to eat. Either you have money or not, you must eat. Money will definitely come from somewhere for you to satisfy your needs. You might not get 100% of it, but you definitely get what you want. So let's look at the budget constraint from other angle. The budget constraint defines the set of all bundles of goods that the consumer is able to purchase at given prices and a given income. The budget constraint determines the set of all bundles of goods that the consumer is able to purchase at given prices and a given income. Now, assuming all the income is spent on these goods, rice and snacks. So your income, we are going to have a budget line. So that budget line will be used to draw your indifference curve. Before we get to that, what is your budget line? You form an equation. The equation is going to be your income, which is represented by I or Y, is equal to price of rice times quantity of rice plus price of snacks times quantity of snacks. That will give you your equation. You can call it your I equal to R stand for rice, S stand for snacks, PR is the price of rice, YPS is the price of snacks. So you now see I equal to PR times capital R plus PS times capital X. So that equation is describe your budget line. That means what you can buy with your constraint, with your income, quantity you can get from it. So if you multiply, if you are buying 2 units of snacks and the price of one is 200 naira. So if you multiply the 200 naira by 2, that will give you 400. So if the price of rice, the plate of rice is 500 naira. So if you multiply and you are buying 5 of it, or you are buying, let's say 3 of it. So you multiply the 5 by 3, that will give you 1,500 naira. So if you add it to the initial 400 you spent on your snacks, that will give you a total of 1,900. So the total of 1,900, that means you spend 1,900 on those 2 projects. So it's supposed to give you the total income. That means they assume your income was 1,900. So that will give you the same thing. That means you are spending all your income on those 2 products. The bundle is rice and snacks. Is there any question? Someone is raising up his hand here.
Thank you for the lecture. I just want to ask, when you were talking about consumers products and how to get your products. For example, you have 2,000 naira and you intended to buy 10 items, but when you go to the market, you discover that the 2,000 naira cannot cover the 10 items. Now, how do you just go back home because your 2,000 naira cannot cover the 10,000 naira, but cannot cover the 10 items, having in mind that all the 10 items that you want to buy are important, are very, very important to you. So how do you decide which one to buy, which one not to buy, or go back home?
Okay. Thank you for that question. Now, what you can do is to rank it, to do a scale of preference, to rank the products you intend to buy based on the importance and how relevant or the needs are to you. If your intention is to say, okay, I need exercise book, very, very key, and more than anything, you prioritize it and say, okay, this one, let me buy 2. I need calculator because I need it for my exam. Take it as the second one. I need school sandal. You take it as the third one. So you rank those products based on the scale of preference. how important they are to you. So once you rank it, you consider your budget, you put the price in front of it and consider your budget, what you have with you, the income you have with you. That's okay. You tick it. I can buy 2, 3, 1 of this. There you go ahead and buy those ones. You cannot complete the transaction at some other day. So that's the only way you can manage the income you have with you and still achieve your objective. Though you might not get 100% of what you needed to buy in the market, but you still buy it and fulfill the order. Is that one fine? Have I answered your question?
Yes, you have. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's continue. The consumer's income and the utility of price. There's something we call consumer preference, like the question you just asked me now. What's consumer preferences, as we have seen in the previous section, that means what I've explained so far. The consumer preference is constrained to its budget. So after ranking it and after putting it in form of scale of preference, you select what you want, then you buy it. That's everything about that particular concept of consumer preference. And don't forget, there's scarcity of your income, of resources. So you don't have enough to achieve your objective. But the little you have with you, maximize it. Get the best out of it and still satisfy your objective. Let's move on to the concept of indifference curve. We have been explaining a lot of concepts talking about the consumer behavior, the bias, this and that. Now we need to put it in a graph. That's the indifference curve. The indifference curve is a line that divides all those combinations of goods between which the consumer is indifferent. Combination of goods that the consumer is indifferent. Now, if I decided to spend the 2,000 naira on just rice, I'm going to get the same satisfaction. With me deciding to say, okay, let me spend 1,000 naira on rice, 1,000 naira on snacks. So the same satisfaction will still come to me because I know what I want. The satisfaction might not be of the same rank, but the satisfaction will still be the same thing. So, or I decide to say, okay, let me spend 75% of my income on this and 25% on this. The satisfaction will still be the same thing. So you now draw a graph where your y-axis will be for one product, your x-axis will be for the second product. So if you are buying 2 of rice, you put it there. 10 of snacks, you put it there. Then you now draw a graph. You join the points, those 2 points, you join them together with a line. That's your indifference curve. It's a line that divides all those combinations. It's a line. The indifference curve is a line that divides all those combinations of goods between which the consumer is indifferent. The body that give the same level of utility. What do I mean by utility? Your utility is the satisfaction you derive from consuming a certain goods. The utility you derive from rice is different from utility you derive from snacks. So that's your satisfaction. Because we have limited time, I think we have to stop here. We can continue. The commodities. Let's assume that the commodity we are talking about is indivisible. That means you cannot divide it based on the price, or you can't divide the units you have to buy. What are you going to do? That's the concept we are moving on to. Assuming that the commodities are indivisible, the indifferent product combinations are scattered on the graph. It's going to be scattered. We have different points on one axis, another point on the other axis, another point on the other axis. So what you can do is to use your eyes of best fit to trace it and join them together. We can now move on to the utility, I mean the total utility. Total utility means the useful properties of a commodity, that is the level of satisfaction that the consumer of the commodity yields for the consumer. That means the level of satisfaction, the total satisfaction we are able to get from that product or from those products. So that means the combination of all your satisfaction, all the units you're able to consume, and what satisfaction were you able to get derived from it. That determines your total utility. And the total utility for Mr. A is different from total utility for Mr. B, because what I intend to achieve is different from what you intend to achieve in that particular product you are consuming. But that doesn't mean I'm not getting my maximum satisfaction from the product I'm consuming. Because my intention, if I can achieve my intention, my purpose of buying that particular utility, I've achieved my satisfaction. I've gotten my maximum satisfaction from the product. So for that reason, your own satisfaction is going to be different from my own satisfaction. So that's why I don't copy anybody, because the person's intention is quite different from your own intention. But if you copy, you might be copying the wrong thing. With the look of things now, like, I don't have enough time. Again, thank you very much. I really appreciate your support and the time given to us. By next week, I'll be on this program again, and I'll be expecting you to be here. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Bye.